I'm trying not to be in so much of a hurry anymore. Kind of alluded to this earlier in the conversation, but there was a point shortly after, immediately and shortly after I graduated from my master's, where I felt like this like incredible sense of urgency where I had to like be constantly producing and getting my name out there and like sharing stuff and blah blah blah. And I mean, I love like posting about my goings-ons on social media and like the musical activities and creative projects I have going on. But like this idea that if I work hard, then, I will be rewarded equally. That's just not been the case. And so I've really tried to like reposition my thinking to where like I'd love to be composing all the time and producing all the time, but even if I had all the time in the world, I don't know if I would spend it like writing a bunch of new pieces. I think I would just spend more time. And this is what's ended up happening. I just like spend more time on one piece, like trying to get it right. And so like the piece that I just completed, and hopefully my next few projects don't take this long. They can't, but the piece I just completed took me 3 years to like kind of finally get to where I wanted it to be. So I don't know if like being that little in a hurry is what I want to be doing, but definitely like kind of savoring the process a little more. And also the other thing that I'm trying, on that note, the other thing I'm trying to get better at in my creative life is finding validation in the process of creation rather than like externally. I think external validation is important. I think it's something that obviously if you want to get ahead in your career, you kind of have to have that, I think, but it's like really taken me to some dark places in my creative life and psychologically speaking, and like kind of led me to some depressive episodes of, I'm not winning anything and I'm not, and so, yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, it's taken a lot of hard work to be able to settle on, okay, let's try to find validation in the process. Let's find the joy of making again. That was such a joyful thing for me at one point in my life. And I think my life took me away from that. And now I'm finally back in a place where I can do that. To the point where, I don't really know how to say this any other way. So I hope that it lands properly. But, it was kind of drilled into me grad school onward that I should only take on commissions. I should only, if I'm writing music, it needs to be because I'm being paid to write music. I think there's, that's important. But what I've since discovered is that like, I need to be writing music for the joy of writing music. And, I'll be selective about those kinds of projects, write stuff that I think will get played by people in real life. That's a vital part of what we do. But I think like a mixture of making music for the sake of making music and still taking on commissions and paid work and stuff like that, I think is where I'm at now. Thank you so much for tuning in to Micromaker by Loose Leaf Transmissions. We hope you enjoyed this brief glimpse into the inner workings of the creative life. If this resonated with you, be sure to check out the full conversation on Music Maker with Tyler Kline, a podcast exploring craft and process, philosophy and inspiration, and the honest, often messy parts of being an artist, creative uncertainty, purpose and identity, and resilience. You can find Music Maker wherever you get your podcasts or by visiting musicmakerpodcast.com.